Hello, YouTube. Before you join any MLM, let us think about income disclosure statements. There actually is a video in which I discuss the income disclosure statements of the leading companies in terms of annual revenue in the United States, which reveal that most distributors make very little money or lose money. And I implied at that time that those below the top 25 in the US probably are doing less, or almost certainly are doing worse. That is, the individual distributors. And I want to try to explain why in this video. First, the preface. This is all my opinion. Don't take any of it personally. And then a very quick review of what the elements of an MLM are. The endless chain model, in which each link competes with every other link. Each consumer/distributor competes with all of the other distributor/consumers for the market. There is no respect for the laws of supply and demand or for market saturation. You must pay to play. In other words, a purchase of the product or service must occur for you to participate in the compensation plan. The only way that you are going to justify all of the hard work that you're doing here and by way of remuneration is to recruit, and to recruit heavily. And then extreme money transfer. I usually botch this. What I mean by extreme money transfer is that the overwhelming majority, greater than 70% of the commissions paid, go straight to the top of the chain, and that is an inversion of a typical sales commission structure. Okay, let's talk about income disclosure statements. There are a number of misconceptions and nuances that I want to try to explain and discharge. First of all, as is incorrectly stated, they are in fact not required by statute, FTC Act, or otherwise. Many anti-MLM advocates state that there is information that's left out. In other words, that expenses are not deducted from the amounts that someone could make. Although many, to their credit, many income disclosure statements do note that the commissions that are earned by the distributors do not include a subtraction factor for expenses. And then the supporters of MLM often say that these income disclosure statements are inaccurate because really everybody at the bottom is just in it for the discount. They're not actually wanting to participate in the program, and I'm going to try and show you why that's not the case. First of all, these statements reveal a lot of information that the companies probably want to hide, not least that it's extremely rare for one to make any money doing this. By the way, that on the right there is, in case you have not already noticed, is the 2023 Young Living Essential Oils IDS. And then another misconception or nuance is that these income disclosure statements, they actually present a picture of a bad opportunity, despite omitting information that would make them look worse. In other words, I look at these IDSs and I don't say, hey, wow, I can make, look over at Young Living, the Royal Crown Diamonds, the highest compensation there was $2.8 million a year. Like, wow, I can do that. Actually, I'm looking at the rest of the graph, which shows, this is a kind of a crappy opportunity. Here's that statement a little up further up close, and I showed this in a previous video. If you look over at the left-hand column of the percentage of all brand partners, you go below 1% at the fourth rank, and this here belies the suggestion that the bottom part of the chain are only people who are in it for the discount. Clearly, the star, senior star, and executive even the silvers here are working and recruiting very hard to make their median $3,000 to $13,000 a year. So much so that they are probably, if they were to calculate their hourly, are making the minimum wage or less. So if I haven't totally confused you by now, and if you are willing to stipulate with me that income disclosure statements make these companies look bad, it raises the musical question, why then do companies, MLM companies, publish them? It's a very good question. Now, if you were to ask the Direct Selling Association, they would say transparency. They would do this to be transparent, and transparent is a good thing. I would take them at their word. Also point out that, it implies that with some justification that the companies such as iGenius, which is the focus of most of these videos, which does not have an IDS, is being notably non-transparent. I actually believe in another possible reason, which would be a legal defense, no matter how weak. For example, an MLM can justifiably say, look, we told you this was a bad idea. It's right there in the income disclosure statement. What are you complaining about? You can't sue us. You knew what you were getting into. I want to just close with some other nuances that is actually information that is always left off of not just income disclosure statements, but presentations of the opportunity altogether. And it is this, which is this is a hyperbolic curve, starting at the left at 0 and going all the way up to some arbitrary maximum. The mean of this curve, or the average, is drawn with that yellow line. And this is the reason why in income disclosure statements, medians are always less than the means. In other words, half of the contents of this line are always lower values than the mean value. And another thing that is not said is that if you can imagine trying to push a stone up this hill, you will note that climbing the ranks becomes progressively more difficult. The farther to the right you go, the harder it is to progress. Not easier, as is sometimes portrayed. I think that many go-getters in MLM believe that once they reach the higher ranks that it's going to be easy sailing. But the hyperbolic curve would suggest otherwise. In fact, the moment you stop recruiting, you begin sliding down the curve. It's inevitable. There is no other way out except to slide down backwards. And the math proves it. So, folks, your knowledge, skills, and experience are much too valuable to waste, nay, to throw away in an MLM. That's all I've got for you. I'll see you in the next episode.